All right, welcome everybody. In this video, we are going to start working with the dplyr package in R. And again, the dplyr package is just one of several packages that are part of the tidyverse. And the dplyr package is really intended as a data frame manipulation package. And it has a bunch of verbs, actions, or functions that it performs on a data frame. And so these functions might act on a row, they might act on columns. And so we'll kind of talk about different functions. We'll start by thinking about functions that act on rows, and then we'll talk about functions that act on different columns. But each verb is going to perform a different task. But I want to just think about, before we think about what they have different from each other, what they all have in common. So what all of these verbs are going to have in common. So how we work with all of these functions in the dplyr package similarly is that the very first argument in these functions is always going to be a data frame. So we first need some data to manipulate. So that's going to be the first thing we specify as an input into the function. They're all going to have that in common. And sometimes that might be the only thing we input into a function. Then if there are additional arguments in the function, the next arguments are typically going to be columns that we're going to operate on. And we typically indicate the columns using the variable names without putting quotes around the variable name. So we don't put quotes around variable names when we are working with the dplyr package. And then what they all have in common, all of these functions have in common, is the output of these functions are a new data frame. So what we get out is not going to be integer. It's not going to be a vector. What we get out of these functions is going to be another data frame. And so it's a little bit small, but again, you can access this Colab notebook by going to the link in the description below. And you can see some of the greatest hits, let's say, of dplyr that we're going to talk about in this video. So we're going to take a look at all of these functions listed below, take a look at some examples about what they do. And down here, I just put a link to the cheat sheet for dplyr. I think I've got that open in one of these tabs. So that cheat sheet just kind of looks like this. So this is kind of handy if you want to download this PDF and post it on your wall. That might be useful for reference. Okay, so that is a brief introduction into what is the dplyr package. In the next video, we'll take a look at what the pipe is, which is one of the more central operators when we're working with dplyr. Thanks.